So 6.1, this is known as chapter 6 in the textbook. This is linear optimization, okay? So this is trying to find maximum or minimum amounts of things given a graph, okay? These have huge business implications, okay? They're used in business, a little more complicated than what we do in grade 11, of course, but, you know, finding profits and whatnot, and maximizing profits, minimizing losses and stuff like that. So this is where this stuff kind of works with. And today, all we're going to do is we're just going to draw linear equation or linear inequalities. Okay, so this is what it is. Okay, so we graphed linear equations last semester in Math 10, right? Straight lines. Okay, so now, like we graph things like, remember, y equals mx plus b, and we had things like in standard form, ax plus by equals c and all that jazz. With this stuff, there's no equal signs. There's greater than and less than, or less than and equal to, greater than and equal to. Okay? All right, so that's what we're going to be working here today. Is what we do now when we have something like this. All right, so we're going to change the symbol. And all that does is it's still the same shape. It's still a straight line. It changes if it's a dotted line or a solid line, and we have to shade in a region. Okay? So you need to determine if your line is dotted or dotted or solid, sorry. And then you need to figure out where to shade. Okay, that's what you guys were working on yesterday when you did this, okay? So basically, if you have a symbol, if it's greater than or less than only, it's a dotted line. If it's greater than or equal to or less than and equal to, solid line, okay? So let's do an example here, and I'll show you what I mean by dotted line and solid line. Okay, dotted line, you've seen that. Solid line, you've seen that. First example, this is on page 295. Okay. So when you're graphing these guys, remember with a straight line, you just need to find 2 points. Okay? So the 2 points that we're going to find are the x and y intercept, okay? This is something cool. Okay, so remember at the x-intercept, 0, right? And at the y-intercept, we want to take a stab at what x equals? Very good. Okay. So all you do is you just plug 0 in for the x, solve for y, plug 0 in for the y, solve for x. Okay? So let's do the x-intercept first. So let's make y equal to 0. So the x-intercept is going to be negative 2x. Okay. 5 times 0 is just 0, so I don't have to write it out anymore. So now I'm just left with negative 2x greater than 10, or greater than equal to 10. Okay? All right. So now to solve for x, I just divide everything by negative 2, right?
Do you choose if you're going to go with the x or the y?
You do them both anyways. So whichever one you pick first is up to you. Okay? Okay, now, so there's my x-intercept. It's at negative 5 and 0. So that's my first point that I graph. And then I do it again. But this time, I do my y-intercept, so x equals 0.
What did x equal us?
Negative 5, yeah. Basically, all you're doing is taking one of them and just solving for the other one, like solving for x. And then you solve for y. Because when you make it equal to 0, it just cancels one of them out, which is quite nice. Okay? Did that make sense to you guys yesterday doing this? Yeah, okay. So my y-intercept, x equals 0, so it's going to be negative 2 times 0 plus 5y greater than or equal to 10. These cancel out because negative 2 times 0 is just 0. So it's going to be 5y. Y equals 2. All right, so my next point is at 0 and 2. All right, so now I have to graph this.
Good morning.
Good morning. Okay.
That is the one.
That is the one,
So
okay?
if you fill that in,
Okay, get that to you.
get that to me,
Okay,
and then we'll be good to go.
okay, perfect. How did you get the old ones?
Hooray for Kathy.
All right, thank you so much.
You're
Miss
welcome.
Lifesaver. All right, so I got my 2 points. I plot and graph them now. Now, this hopefully, you guys kind of remember doing this stuff on the Cartesian plane, right? This was chapter 6 and 7 from Foundations 10. The worst stuff, absolutely. But it's not awful. It's not that awful. So my y-intercept is at 0 and 2. Right there. Okay, there's my y-intercept. My x-intercept is at negative 5 and 0. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right there. Once I've made the 2 dots, connect them. Oh wait, before I connect them, look at my sign. It's greater than and equal to. Remember now, whenever the symbol's that one, I draw a solid line. Okay? Does that make a little more sense to you guys now? Okay. And don't worry, I guarantee you, I'm going to draw a dotted line solid all the time. I always forget. Okay? Now, I need to determine the shaded region.
These lines never end, is that what you put up?
Yeah, they keep going on forever. Finding the shaded zone. All right, so to find the shaded zone, all you do is you take any point on the graph or any point on this plane that's not on the line. All right, anywhere you want. You can pick anywhere. I don't care. But I'll show you the easiest one to pick, and it works most of the times. Okay, finding the shaded zone. Pick any point not on the line, okay? So if I look here, here's my line. The easiest point to pick that's not on the line is, I'll do this on the right one, right here. Right? 0 and 0. Right? And zeros are very easy to work with because they're nothing. So all you do now is you plug that point into the original equation, this guy up here, and you see if it's true. Okay? Draw a line, and you see if it is true. Okay? Did this part make sense to you guys yesterday? Yeah, you're just saying that. Yeah. So my original equation was negative 2x plus 5y greater than or equal to 10, right? So I take 0 and 0, I plug that in for my x and my y. Okay? So it'd be negative 2 plus 5 times 0.
So 0 plus 0.
Right, 0 plus 0 is just 0. Is 0 greater than or equal to 10? No. No, it's not. So this is false. So that means this point is not part of my answer. So not included. So what that means is I shade over here. Everything over here is included. You're going to have one half of the line, one part of the line that is included, and one half that's not included.
So whatever side doesn't work, then the other side doesn't work.
Right. And so what I'm saying here now is everything that's shaded red will work. Okay? Now, will you ever find a job in life that makes you draw one straight line and shade color on one side of it? I don't know. Maybe there's some like adult coloring books out there now. Maybe. But no, this is elementary stuff here. Okay? But it gives you an idea. Like once we start graphing more things, business ideas behind it, you can see like areas that make more money and less money and stuff like that. Okay. I'm just gonna pause. I'm gonna help. Okay, my next example. Okay. Now with this one, I look right away, okay, it's not set up properly. What I always do is get x and y over to the same side. Do that first, then it makes everything easier, okay? So this, if I bring this over by adding it, it becomes 2x plus y greater than 8. Okay? Now I can work with this, okay? I got my x's and my y's on the same side. I'm going to do a quick check. This is just a greater than or less than sign. There's no equal sign below it. So that means I'm going to have a dotted line. Okay? Right, guys? Right.
How do you know that?
Because there's no, if it was greater than and less than, but equals to at the bottom, because it says equals to as well, that means you have to include include the solid line. But when you don't have that, it means you don't include everything on the line, so it's dotted, just to show it's up to that line. Okay? Now, I'll do the same thing again. I'll find my x and y intercepts, okay? I like to write it out. Okay, so my x-intercept, remember, y equals 0, right? So I put 0 in for y. You guys don't have to show all this work all the time. It can be just easier to like erase it or just solve it real quick because the numbers are fairly simple. Okay, so you have 2x greater than 8, divide by 2. X is greater than 4, so my first point is at 4 and 0. Okay, we're all okay with that? Next point, my y-intercept, x equals 0. So I plug that in, so it'd be 2 times 0 plus y is greater than 8. This is kind of nice. 2 times 0 is 0, so I just have y is greater than 8. So there's my next point. So it's at 0 and 8. Are we all okay with finding those 2 points? Question, Brendan?
Doesn't it have to be greater than 8 though?
No, not necessarily. No. When you're solving for the intercepts, don't worry about the symbols, okay? They're just there. Like what I tell people sometimes to do is just think of it when you're solving like this, to leave it as an equal sign. Okay? Because you're just solving for the points. You don't know if they are included or not included yet, though, okay? So there's my 2 points. Jackson, any questions about where I got those points? Okay. Hopefully it kind of makes sense. Just
So y-intercept is 8.
Yeah, my y-intercept's at 8. Okay. So if you graph it out, I'm going to go up by 2s just so I have enough room. So this is 2, 4, 2, 1. Okay. There. And 1 there. Okay, so I just connect. Now connect the dots. Remember though,
Dotted.
dotted. Yeah, I almost did a straight line or a solid line. I do it all the time.
Kind of curves off at the end.
Thanks, Jax. I'm terrible at the dotted ones, especially having to go up when it's really weird. Yeah, but that's straight. Just so we all know, that's a straight line. Okay. Now I have to check again which way to shade. And what point do I use, Jackson?
What?
I need to determine which side to shade on now, right? So which point do I use for that again? Do you remember?
No. So long. Oh yeah.
All right, I take 0 and 0. Is that what you were going to say, Brendan? Good work. Yeah, so I'll take 0, 0 now. And I'll see, okay, if it works or not. So my equation was, what was it? You know what?
-2.
Is it -2?
Yeah, I have -2.
Oh, when you bring it over, it's positive.
Oh.
So now, just by looking at it, 2 times 0 is 2 times 0 is 0.
Yeah.
Plus 0, it's 0, right? This always works out to 0. Is 0 greater than 8? No.
Doesn't work.
Doesn't work, so I shade on the other side of the line away from it. Like that. Okay. How's this making sense? Feeling okay? Okay.
Not gonna be like this all the time.
No, like we're going to put more than one line on here, and there's going to be word problems. But it'll be okay. Try some of these right now, okay? Brent, I'll be right with you guys, okay?
What page is that?
Page 303. Do number 5, okay? I'll put up